Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. And before we get into this, make sure you follow me on my Telegram channel. I left a link to that in the live chat and also the description below. So you're joking a lot of different posts. I'll be posting a lot of different trading setups there throughout the week, and you don't be missing out on that. So make sure you go check that out. But like I said, I've got another live stream. I'm going to talk you through what's happening in the charts today and see if we've got any opportunities coming up. So first, we're going to start with AUD/USD. You can see with this one we had a push to the downside recently. Price came back up, creating a lower high. Another push to the downside, but this time we didn't quite make our way to contest that support. We were looking quite bearish at one stage. As you can see, price found a bit of support just below it, just above it, sorry. And we're looking like we're actually turning a little bit bullish for this pair. As you can see, an hourly, very strong movement to the upside. So again, right now it's quite choppy for AUD/USD. Will come into that very strong support area. It looks like it's overall holding. You can see on the daily chart that we had quite a lot of indecision here. We got this kind of that wick into that support and wick into that resistance, and ever since then we're kind of just moving sideways there on the daily. No real strong body candles, or just small body candles, wicks to either side, and price kind of just moving sideways. So we kind of do have a little bit of a range from a daily point of view between that support and that resistance. We do have lower highs coming into the market though, so you can see this is kind of our last previous high. So might probably be expecting to see price turn around before we go and take up this level here, because that's kind of our last point where price found a bit of momentum to the downside. But overall, again, it's a little bit unclear with AUD/USD. We're holding that support, might see another push to the upside, but again, don't really expect it to get past that resistance there. And I do probably expect it to hold and fall back down. However, if it does get above, you could be seeing a longer push to the upside for this pair, and maybe even a reversal of this whole bearish trend that we saw, and a bigger push to the upside for this pair could be possible. Euro/USD, we're starting to have a bit of a bullish reaction now for this pair. As you can see, we've tapped into this very strong area of prior support, prior support, sorry, now acting as support as well. As you can see, I highlighted this area out a couple of days ago. You can see this is where we had a big move to the upside from this area. Now we're tapping into it again, so we could be expecting to seeing some bullish reaction from Euro/USD from this level. You can see on the 4 hourly we had a bit of indecision, then we had a bit of a push to the upside. We did pull back a little bit, but we could be seeing a strong push to the upside for that pair. We might fall to the downside again just to get deeper into that level, or to go and test the bottom of that level first before we do have that push. But I think from this general area we could be seeing a bit of retracement for Euro/USD after this big push to the downside. Could look to be retracing that move to the upside soon for this pair. Again, we're tapping into a really nice area of previous support, now acting as support there again. USD CAD, we did see on the 4 hourly chart, and you see we did see a little bit of a push to the upside. Price, however, did go and test this trend line here in the market. So as you can see here, we've got many tests, initially test there, second, third, bit of a false breakout there, that wick there, so fourth, and then we had a fifth test, and price is rolling over back to the downside. So we do need to break through that trend line for price to really take off to the upside. But as you can see, we're holding that trend line and price is rolling back down to the downside. So maybe could be expecting another test of that support. Again, as long as that support holds, I'm expecting USD CAD to break the trend line to the upside. But if you do see a break of that support, again, that will now become resistance. It could be seeing a drop to the downside for USD CAD, or maybe price coming into this area here. Again, this is kind of a really strong support area, which kind of give us a really nice move to the upside. So you could be coming to tap that level there again if you do break through that support. But for now, as long as we hold that support, I think we could be seeing a break of that trend line and price continuing to the upside. However, as you can see, we're looking very bearish now on the 4 hourly time frame. Same with the hourly as well. So I might expect further continuation to the downside to go and tap that area before seeing another swing back up. But right now we are looking very bearish there. USD/CHF, again starting to look bearish with this one. Did pull back up a little bit for this pair, but could be seeing further movement to the downside for USD/CHF. You can see we're starting to come into this previous area of support here. As you can see, we had that bullish candle out testing as resistance. I did say price could maybe come a little bit higher for USD/CHF to tap into this area of support resistance, and it's the resistance that kind of gave us that really strong move to the downside. So we could tap into that level there. But again, you can see we are starting to get turn that bearishness, so we could be seeing price reverse to the downside now. Again, we're very overextended. I didn't really see a retest of this key resistance where price broke out, but as you can see, really nice resistance going through the market there. Could be seeing price coming back to come and retest that as support now. So again, could be seeing a bit of a longer retrace for this pair after the big push to the upside. But again, there is room to move higher from a daily point of view to tap into that level first before seeing the drops, and you'd be aware of that. But again, we could be seeing that retracement at any time really for that pair. Same thing with USD/JPY. I was talking about this key level of resistance before. It's looking like price is actually breaking through that level. We haven't taken out the highest wick of it, which is here, so that it kind of is still holding there. So again, need to be aware of that. But nonetheless, price is still looking quite bullish for USD/JPY. I was expecting to see some retracement from this pair in this general area, but as you can see, we still have that bullish price action. Price pull back up at 10 a.m. As you can see, we were looking quite bearish at one point, pulled all the way back up. And we're actually looking bullish, so we need to start to see some strong bearish candles coming back into this market for us to take this lower. It does have a lot of downside potential to retrace this whole bullish run we had to the upside, so you could be seeing a retest of that previous resistance there on the daily turn support. So that could be on the cards for USD/JPY. As you can see right now, we're still bullish, so again, no real opportunity there, and we're definitely really overextended to the upside, so could be seeing a nice drop for that pair soon. GBP/USD for this one, we had the news that came in yesterday. As you can see, big spike to the upside. I exited my trade yesterday as well. And you can see we're back above that previous support there. Was expecting to see maybe it hold as resistance, but as you can see, price just broke to the upside there. So again, we're looking a little bit bullish now for GBP/USD. Again, not too sure about my overall bias for this pair, because again, the news kind of skewed things up a little bit. We were looking quite bearish at one point and could be seeing a nice drop to that level there. But as you can see, the news came up and kind of changed things up a little bit. But again, if we do take out probably this level here, as you can see, this is a kind of a previous resistance that's sent us to the downside. So again, very strong impulsive move. Came back up to retest it, fell to the downside from there. So if we break through that level there, then I'll probably say GBP/USD is probably on its way up to the upside. If we do break through that level, probably going to come and test this resistance up here if we break through that, and then at that point we'll probably break through that as well and probably see further continuation to the upside for that pair. But if you do hold at this level, could be seeing price reverse coming back into this support here, probably break it, probably come test that previous low, and probably come test that previous low there as well. But as you can see, not too much happened for GBP/USD after the news. Slowly climbed up, big wick to the upside, pull back down, fell to break through that resistance. So again, if it does hold, could be seeing further continuation to the downside. If we break through it, could be seeing GBP/USD creating some new highs, or at least coming back to test those highs up there. Next, we're going to take a look at EUR/JPY. Now, EUR/JPY starting to turn a little bit bullish for this one. As you can see, for this pair, this trend line here, initially test there, second, third, fourth, failed to break it on the fourth, and price is turning a little bit bullish there. So could be seeing a bit of retracement for this pair. As you can see, we had a really nice drop to the downside. Could at least retrace that. There is possibility we could be coming back to the previous highs, or maybe even all the way up to the highs up there. That is still a possibility, because again, you still have a kind of a choppy uptrend here, so price could still obey that and see another swing to the upside. However, I think my bias is still to the downside overall for the longer swing. Obviously on the daily, we had this strong impulsive move here, treating this bullish movement as a retrace and then seeing a further continuation back to the downside. But right now, as you can see on the 4 hourly, we are holding that support, which is the trend line, and we could be seeing a bit of a movement to the upside to retrace that, maybe a double top potentially, and then price can come down. That's still a possibility. But right now, EUR/JPY is looking bullish and probably could be seeing further movement to the upside for that pair. Next, we're going to take a look at GBP/AUD. GBP/AUD, another one affected by the news. Again, another GBP pair. We're looking quite bearish at one point for this one yesterday. As you can see, really nice bearish movement to the downside. Expecting price to probably come to this level around here. But as you can see, price did a quick U-turn and had a really strong push to the upside there from the news. So again, we had a very strong bullish candle there. Actually, you can see we had the wick to the downside there on the daily, and a closed bullish there from the news. There yesterday. So we're coming back into this really strong level of prior support in the market. As you can see, support all across here, in the market now turned resistance. Price hasn't really broken through that level yet, so as long as that level holds, I think we could be seeing another movement to the downside for GBP. However, if we get above it, we could be seeing a longer push to the upside, because it looks like we're getting a bit of a double bottom here. As you can see, we tested this area once, tested it twice. Price is now breaking through that previous resistance, and we could be seeing a bit of a reversal for GBP if we do get above this level potentially, or if we get above and stay above. But right now you can see we're losing a little bit of momentum, but overall there's nothing really convincing on the 4 hourly chart saying that we're coming back down yet. But again, if price does go and break through this level, could be seeing a further push to the upside for this pair and price really taking off. However, if you stay underneath it, could be seeing a nice drop back to the downside again for GBP AUD. Now let's go and take a look at NZD USD. Now NZD USD again for me, again very unclear for this pair. Overall direction is sideways for NZD USD. You can see we did hold this support there for a little bit. I said if we break through that support, we're probably going to come and test that area there. As you can see, we saw a really nice drop to come and test that previous area of support. Price held at that area, a bit of false breakout with that wick there on the 4 hourly chart. But as you can see, we pulled all the way back up, closed bullish. Had another push to the upside there at 10 AM, price pulled all the way back there. So it's looking at price wants to come up, but it's getting rejected there. As you can see, an hourly came right back down. So again, it just depends whether we hold that level or not. If we do hold this level here, probably see another push back into this level again, and price just continue that range. Break through this support, we'll probably come to this support down there, which again, if I zoom out, really key level support. We held it there once, nice push to the upside all the way back to that key level up there, and we held this support there, and we had a really nice push as well to the upside again there. So if we do break through that support, that's probably where we're going to come next. And again, we could hold it as well and see another swing back up, because again, overall we are just moving from level to level really on this pair, moving sideways, and again it's not very clear as to the overall direction for this pair, even from a daily point of view. Kind of just move sideways. We are again still due some retrace from this big move that we had to the upside, but as you can see right now, price is ranging from level to level right now, and as long as we hold that level, we might see another push back up again, break through it, probably see a move coming into that support all the way down there. Next we're going to take a look at Euro AUD. Now Euro AUD, we did see a drop to the downside for this pair. Price broke through that previous support, broke below it, failed to get above it. I was thinking price could get back above that level and seeing another push to the upside. As you can see, we're making those higher highs and higher lows, but you can see we failed to do that, and price has kind of turned around a little bit. So again, if we probably break through this support here, I'm probably expecting price maybe to come back to the lows all the way down there at that point, because at that point we'll probably start to turn really bearish as well. If we do hold that, give us a little bit of a double bottom, could see maybe another attempt to try and break through that, and if we do, we could probably see another swing to the upside and see a bit more of a reverse, a bit more of a retrace for Euro AUD. But overall, we are starting to turn a little bit bearish after failing to break through that, and if you do see a break through that support there, probably expecting price to come all the way back to the lows, or maybe even creating a new low, because you can see the overall trend is still quite bearish for this pair on the daily and the weekly and the 4 hourly time frame. So key level of support, if it holds, could be seeing another push back up, breaks, probably seeing price coming all the way back to the lows there for Euro AUD. NZD-JPY, I'm currently in a short trade for this one, looking for a nice swing to the downside. You can see with this one, we're coming right back to the highs here. We can see I've drawn a wick, I've drawn a line where that wick lines up. And see, taking that across, we had a price trying to test it once there, failed to break through it, broke above it, was ranging just above that previous resistance, now acting as support. We're ranging a little bit above it, moving up and down, and we saw this nice bearish candle taking us right back down. And I was thinking we could be seeing a bit of a false breakout there, because again, price ranging, a lot of people be looking to buy that at that previous resistance and support in that area, and then this kind of would have taken their trades out. And then we could be seeing a false breakout and a nice swing back to the downside. Obviously, if you start getting back above it, then the trade probably might fail, and we could actually be seeing a breakout. That is still a possibility, but I think as long as we hold this general area here and we see price create new lows, we could be seeing a nice drop to the downside for NZD-JPY. However, since I've taken the trade again, price kind of just moved sideways, but I think as long as we stay below, my bias is still to the downside for this pair. You're going to see a nice swing. Could be looking to target this trend line here as well. As you can see there, I've connected the 3 points there. So initially a test there, second, third. Could be seeing a fourth test of that trend line there. So again, that's probably looking to be my target there for the for this pair. Break through that trend line, probably going to test the previous swing low there in the market. But again, more of a long term point of view, but just looking to see if you can get a nice swing to the downside for NZD JPY. Next, going to take a look at NZD CAD. NZD CAD looking very bearish here. As you can see, we kind of had price trying to attempt to take out these levels here, trying to come back to the highs here. But as you can see, we're having this failing to do so. Price is having a really strong push to the upside, falling back down again, strong push, falling back down again, strong push, falling back down again. And it's looking like since we've broken through this trend line here in the market, kind of retested there as resistance. Could be seeing a nice drop to the downside for NZD CAD, potentially coming back all the way to the lows, all the way down here potentially. Again, it looks like price is forming a lower high there. Yeah, a lower high there in the market. As you can see, that's our high there. Price came failing to take out that previous level, giving us a little high. Could be seeing a nice drop into this level as support for NZD CAD, or maybe even further and break through that support, and there we can come to go and test this key level of support here as well. So we do have a lot of downside potential for NZD CAD as long as we hold that trend line, which we did, and could be seeing a further push to the downside. Do have a little bit of mini support around here, which will probably affect it, make it a little bit harder to break. But if you do go and break that, could be seeing a really nice downside potential for this pair, coming all the way back to the lows here, or even further if you go and break through that same area. Next, CAD JPY. CAD JPY looks like we're breaking to the upside for this pair. As you can see, we had a bit of a range for this pair here. That resistance all across here, support across here. We come and test that resistance there. Price fell to the downside, bounce support, a really strong push back to the upside, and price was kind of breaking above it, but falling back in again. It was just kind of moving sideways, and then as you can see, price was just moving sideways for it to take off to the upside. So it looks like CAD JPY, we're seeing a breakout of this pair. Very strong resistance. You can see it a little bit better on the daily chart here. So again, really strong resistance. Price has broken out yesterday. You can see the daily close yesterday was bullish above that resistance, and today looks like the breakout is in full swing, and we're seeing a really nice push to the upside. Again, I think we could be taking off really, because go to the weekly chart, you can see we're overall trending to the upside a little bit. It's looking like we're just carrying on that momentum and seeing a big push to the upside. So we could be on our way to go and test the 200 moving average from a weekly point of view, and probably even further potentially. But right now, CAD JPY is looking very bullish. I probably expect the price to continue a lot further for that pair. So currently only in NZD JPY right now, looking for a swing to the downside for that pair. Again, going to see how it gets on. As long as we hold that previous support, now term resistance, could be seeing a nice swing to the downside for that pair. But again, just going to see how that gets on. If anyone wants me to take a look at any different charts, any different markets, any different pairs, or wants my opinion on any trades, just let me know. Drop it down in the live chat, and I'll make sure I'll give you some analysis on that. But again, like I said, just going to see how this pair gets on. Take a look at some other pairs as well, and just see how they get on today. Okay, so we can take a look at AUD/USD. Okay, so for AUD/USD, recently we've had this kind of bearish trend to the downside here on the 4-hourly chart, coming back to test this key level of support. So you can see here really nice support, test it again once, didn't quite test it there, but the market is holding generally in that area. So we could be seeing a push to the upside if we do hold this area, because as you can see, price is now failing to create lower lows there. As you can see, that's our low there, new low. That's actually technically a higher low there. So price is losing steam on making lows to the downside. So yeah, we could be seeing a push to the upside, but for me, this again, it's a little bit tricky here because from a daily point of view, it's very unclear. So let me just clear up the chart for a second. Okay, so on the daily chart, you can see we kind of had this candle here, which wicked to that resistance and wicked to that support. So again, just basically ranging between that support and resistance. You can see on the daily, the past two candles again, small body candles kind of just moving sideways really. So on the daily chart, we just have basically indecision at that support level, which could mean we could be seeing a push to the upside, because again, when you get indecision at support, most or more often than not, it normally means that we could be seeing a reverse back up again. So yeah, we could be seeing a push to the upside for that pair. And again, for me, it's a little bit tricky because we do have a bit of interference with this pair. Again, if we draw the trend line there, kind of like we have a bit of a forced breakout, price is breaking out now. So we could be seeing a push to the upside from that aspect. And prices, again, forming that higher low there. So could be seeing a push to the upside. It just doesn't look that clear to me. That's the only problem is. But again, from a technical aspect, we do have confidence saying that we could be seeing a push to the upside. But again, just probably be careful because this is kind of like a higher, a last previous swing high there. So the market could come up to that area and get rejected and see it move back down again. But yeah, we could be seeing another push to come and test that previous support there, term resistance, which is where the dailies kind of like test that resistance, testing that support. So this is like the daily range. So could be seeing price coming back to test that area there, potentially get above that area. Could be seeing price really take off to the upside. I'm actually seeing a reversal of this bearish trend potentially, and seeing a bigger push to the upside. But for now, again, I probably expect to see a push to the upside, and favouring that more than the move to the downside, just because we're failing to really create some lows here, and you can see we're running out of that bearish steam. So yeah, we could be seeing a nice push to the upside, at least to test that resistance there. Break through it though could open a lot of more upside potential, but again, I'll probably say that's probably your first target really, because we might get rejected from that and see another swing back to the downside from that area. So probably first target there, could be seeing a lot higher potentially though. Again, that's more of a swing point of view for AU, but currently in the hourly looks like we're retracing a little bit. Could be seeing a push to go and test this area here as support, and then maybe see price lift off from there back to the upside again. So yeah, could be seeing nice potential to the upside for AUD/USD, probably as long as we hold that support there and price fails to create some lower lows. So I hope that analysis helped. Okay, so going to have a quick look at GPJPY. Okay, so for GPJPY, again, still very bullish for this pair. Again, we were turning to the downside a little bit during the week. As you can see, we're rolling over to the downside, and then we found that news yesterday. Price just shot to the upside, looking very bullish, and price is slowly creating some higher highs there in the market. But if we take a look at the high time frames and we actually move along to the daily chart, you can see we got this level here, this really important level here for GPJPY on daily, because you can see if I zoom in and take this across, you can see previously we had this big drop to the downside. Price came up to this area, and it was this area, this doji, that indecision candle that sent us all the way back down from this level. And you can see if we scroll across right now, price is coming back into that level. So we could be just having a case where GBJPY was looking to turn around. Then we had one last push to the upside with the news coming to this very strong level on the daily chart, and from here we could be seeing a drop to the downside. So I still think the bigger move for this pair is probably to the downside in for some retracement of this big push we've had to the upside. Very corrective. We kind of found some bit more momentum there on the daily recently, kind of took off to the upside. So I think with that one last push to the upside with the news coming into that resistance there on the daily, we could be seeing a drop to the downside. Again, not necessarily as big as that one, of course, but we could be seeing some retracement of this bullish run that we've had on the daily chart. But right now on the foil, you can see we're still bullish here. So there isn't any signal yet for any moves to the downside, because again we're still bullish, and of course price could still break through this level and move much higher if it wants to. But if we do start to see some strong reversal candle formations or patterns in there, could be looking for some shorts and take this lower to the downside, because we're coming to a very strong level here on the daily chart. So it could be seeing a nice push to the downside for this pair, but as you can see we're not ready yet, even in the hourly as well, not quite ready yet. So going to have to be keeping an eye out for any possible opportunities to take this low. But right now price is still bullish, but we're still coming into that daily resistance. So again, probably just keep an eye out for a potential short there. It might not happen today as well, could happen next week. So could be waiting for opportunities for Monday potentially, but right now price is still bullish, but keeping an eye out, could be seeing a nice drop to the downside potentially from that area. Okay, so we're gonna have a look at GBP CAD. Okay, so for GBP CAD, starting to look a little bit bearish for this one. As you can see, we did have a really nice leg to the downside in the past few days now. Strong move there, a bit of retrace, continuation to the downside. Did have a strong move to the upside here. It looks like we could be forming a lower high potentially, because again, we had that previous swing high there, new low. Could be a new swing high there. Could be seeing GBP CAD maybe coming back to come and test this level here again, the support. Because again, you can see we had a very big push to the upside recently. Looks like we retraced down, and then we had this big push to the upside. So for GBP CAD, I feel like we could be long term still be to the upside for this pair, because we did break through a key level of resistance, now turned support. And as you can see with the news, we kind of held that support really. So it could be seeing long term a continuation to the upside, potentially back to the highs up here. Again, because price is sort of trending to the upside now. But again, we could be seeing some retracement first of this big push to the upside, maybe coming back down to retest that as support, and then maybe continuing back to the upside for this pair. Because again, on the daily and the higher time frames, we still do have bullish structure, which price is currently holding. So again, could be seeing further continuation to the upside in the long term. But meanwhile, on the 4-hourly chart, we do have this bearish here. And you did see that very strong move to the upside, could be forming that potentially a lower swing high there. Price is holding at some previous support term resistance here, so we could be seeing a bit of retracement to the downside to retrace that big push to the upside we've had recently, and then maybe see further in the future some continuations back to the upside for that pair. Because again, you can see on the daily we've had a big push to the upside, bit of retrace around here, big push coming back to retest it, could be seeing further continuation to the upside because of that. But on the 4-hourly, we might see retracement first before we see that continuation to the upside. So GBP CAD does have some downside potential, but I feel like for GBJPY, we do have a lot more downside potential since we're coming into a very strong area of resistance here on the daily, and we're coming into that. We're probably going to be seeing a bit of retracement from that area. So probably best bet is probably GBJPY, because GBP CAD could look to reverse back to the upside potentially. Whereas this one, we could be seeing a deeper retrace to the downside before reversing back up. But again, we still got to wait for those confirmations, wait for the price to turn bearish for us, because right now GBJPY is still very bullish. So again, I hope that analysis helped. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick look at gold and see what's going on with that pair right now. So gold recently took a nice dive to the downside. As you can see, we had a really strong move to the downside, was consolidating a little bit, and I was broken to the downside as well. We did tap into a very strong area of previous support. As you can see, if I line up this wick here on this daily candle, which is around here, you can see we came to test that. I had a bit of a bullish reaction. I do think gold, however, is still probably on its way down. I was just seeing a deeper retracement there on the hourly and 4 hourly time frames. I think we can still see further retracement to the downside. We might consolidate it a little bit, a bit on the smaller scale, similar to this after a strong move to the downside. So I could probably expect some consolidation, price moving up, back down again. But I do think gold could be on its way to come and test the lows all the way down there, or potentially even further, and make some new lows, because we're keeping on this bearish trend here in the market. And if you dive onto the weekly, you can see price right now is obeying this trend line here in the market. So again, we've had initially a test up there, second false break up there, having another one there. So I do think from a weekly point of view, could be seeing a move into that level, or probably even a new low, like I said before. So I do think for gold, we're still on our way down, might see a bit of consolidation, bit of bullish movement as price retraces some of the strong move to the downside, but I do think we'll probably see further continuation to the upside unless we get back above this area. Get above that area might change my bias for gold, because at that point we're probably seeing a really strong reaction from the downside. But I do think we could be on our way down to the downside for gold to create some new lows potentially, or at least tap into that support all the way down there. Okay, so it's just gone 12 p.m. so I'm going to look to end the live stream shortly. I'm going to do a quick rundown of some of the pairs that we looked at earlier, and also talk about my current trade as well. So AUSD was saying that potentially could be seeing a move to the upside. You can see we're coming back into the support. So if you were to see a move to the upside, it'll probably be from this area here, form a higher low, come back to retest that form resistance and support. If we do get a bullish reaction from this, could be seeing another push back to the highs again. If we do break through this level, probably come back to the lows. As you can see, this is our previous swing low, probably come back to that level, or maybe even create a new low there. But overall, kind of key level there on the hourly depends on whether we break it or not. Break it, could be coming new lows here. Hold could be coming up back to this key level of support, now turn resistance. Euro USD still looking like it could be on its way back up, holding that key level there on the daily. As you can see, we have that bearish candle and a big push to the upside. We could be retesting that for another swing back to the upside, back to come and retest this previous support as resistance. That could be what's happening for USD, and could be seeing a move to the upside. But we might move first to the downside to retrace a little bit more, come and test this level a little bit further, come and really test that level before we see the move to the upside. So that is still a possibility, but just from that general area, we could be seeing a reaction to the upside. USD CAD, we kind of had a bit of a bearish reaction from that trend line. As you can see, we fell to the downside. Price is having a little bit of bullish reaction right now. You can see on the hourly, but again, we could be on our way back down to test that support. If we are, could be seeing a push to the upside. Bias is still to the upside for this pair as long as we stay above that support. I do think we'll probably break through that trend line and see a bigger push to the upside for this pair back into this prior resistance up here. But for now, had a bearish reaction, so just going to see how that gets on. Probably be till Monday before we see a break of that trend line. UCCHF still looking bullish here. Again, coming to a key level of resistance along here. Not quite there yet, so might see further movement to the upside before that happens. But I do think we could be in for some retrace for this pair. And similar thing for UCJPY. As you can see, we're coming right back to the highs now of that previous swing high. So could be seeing a movement to the downside if we do get some bearish price action here. But as you can see, there's not much there yet. Still looking a little bit bullish. So again, no real trade there. And for my current trade, as the JPY, looking for a swing to the downside, which I took yesterday. Again, a bit of a false breakout of this previous swing high. Bit of consolidation, broke to the downside. Now we're holding it as resistance. Looking for continuation to the downside for this pair. So going to see how it goes. Probably going to hold it through the weekend. And again, probably chat to you guys about it on Monday if I'm still in that trade, which I probably will be. But yeah, that is the end of the live stream. Hope you all found it useful and you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe and leave a like if you're feeling generous. But thanks again for watching, and I'll chat to you guys on Monday. So thank you for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you guys later.